Hello, either lab, either anyone else who might be lurking in shiny day. I always have the impulse to start the stream saying, we got a great stream for you guys today. But frankly, that might not be true. So, don't want to lie to you. Hello, shiny day. Room's a little messy, but you don't really see much of it, so whatever. Don't want to set the bar too high either. No. I should start the stream by saying I have a perfectly acceptable stream for you today. That seems reasonable, I think. Let's glance at the view. We have two streams, two thumbnails to make today. Have an adequate stream for you today, yeah. There's a truck selling potatoes outside. $5 the sack of potatoes. I think those are 16 pounds. They used to be like 30 pounds, but then there was some shit about workers carrying too much weight. So they lowered it to like 16. It's a fucking deal. Yeah, they are very cheap right now. They do go up quite a bit depending on the season. I have seen sacks, the 16-pound sack, to go as high as like $12 or $15, which, you know, it's still cheap comparatively. It's a little high for what you would usually get here. $5, $5 or $6? It's pretty good. It's pretty good. And right to your door, because it's a truck driving outside. Maybe I should have bought some. I think I have potatoes stocked. You've contemplated getting a good sized spot to grow potatoes out on your balcony. That would honestly be pretty useful. I know lettuce and potatoes are relatively easy to grow, so you could definitely do those on your balcony. Oh yeah, tomatoes too, yeah. My mom grows a lot of stuff in her lot. I think she has corn, beans, peppers, tomatoes, squash. Forget what else she has. She likes to grow her own shit. And that's why I'm here. Let's get to work while I continue to yap. Oh, this scene doesn't have the music going on. Why? Whoop. Snaggle, hello, shiny day. Good quote. Oh, this is the first stream in the new house. that viewers get to see. Cozy little streaming room. I think Snaggle's going through it. Nadine, hello, shiny day. Guess who has a sore throat? Hold on, I know this. You? Sure they're going to make it into a nice space? Yeah. Their only decoration for that stream was the YouTube plaque, which I also have one of, that you can't see because I decided to bury it in between plushies. I didn't turn the things off? I did, didn't I? It's off on my end. Let me give it the old turn it back on and back off. I guess that works. It was off, but I guess it wasn't. Hello. Yeah, it was off on my end too, but I guess Twitch didn't tell the rest of the class that it was off. Thank you, Twitch. Sorry about that. Let me actually turn on and off the follower one, just in case. There we go. Maybe I did it too early in the stream, and no, that wouldn't matter. Whatever. Could just message on Discord where you felt like only using emotes for that was funnier. It was. I mean, Lep would have eventually mentioned it if you were messaging on Discord about it. Because I wouldn't have checked Discord. I never checked Discord. That's a lie. Arthur, hello, shiny day. Welcome in. First time it happened, dropped the demon method. Me and Khaz just went, oh, you're not in a talking mood. Yeah, that's kind of the problem. When you come in with a bit like that, we just go with the bit. So you gotta have to be very explicit about it. Discord notifications are off usually for anxiety reasons. I simply must look at the notifications that I get. Which sometimes is nothing important. Oh yeah, you did tell me that last night, Lap. I saw the message, but I didn't have a good way to respond, and I was doing other stuff. Friend came by yesterday afternoon, evening. And we ended up staying up playing games for quite a bit. He actually hasn't left yet. He's just downstairs having breakfast. But I had a stream to do. I need a good view of Bora. There we go. That'll do. Moon, hello. Shiny day, welcome in. And Arthur got compressed. I'm gonna scroll through the rest of the video just to see if I find something else that catches my eye, but I do have a concept that I'm gonna try out. I just need a good shot of Bora, but I don't know if I'll get one. You're on a mission to find a gift or something to go with Arthur's roar. Godspeed. You're gonna lurk while you work. Something tells me that you might not be 100% working, but I'm gonna choose to believe that you are. That's just the concept, the game concept. Oh, Mad Pat. We all miss you. The character has rose vibes from the back. She really does. This is the kind of game that you look at and you think, Drawfee could have come up with this. Including the dialogue. There's a lot of quite a few sections of dialogue sound like a Drawfee bit. You found a gift. A gift? No. No T on that one. Let me make sure I don't have Discord on that screen. Gonna have to go to Discord. That over there. I see. Wonderful. It's the real ceremony. Gerald's whole breakdown. Taking the photo would be an interesting concept. Maybe I'll do a similar thing with Jacob and Julia as the subject. Is that a veggie truck? It is. One of them at the very least. They're selling potatoes. $5 for a 16-pound sack. So I'll be getting one and mailing it to Lap. I'm sure that's the most efficient way to do that. Not supposed to mail them, keep them at my house for you. This is my promise to you. If I ever have you here, to any extent, I will have any ingredient that you want within the boundaries of my ability to get them. So if you're ever visiting, I will have just a sack of potatoes waiting for you. And a jar of pickles, I guess. Kosher dill pickles. Got it. I'll try to remember that. I probably can get those relatively easily. Your friend is doing a Hobbit birthday party and everyone is bringing a different potato-based dish. Incredible. What was your first thought? That's an interesting way to be microaggressive. I would never be microaggressive. I'm only macroaggressive. You won't have to figure out if I'm being aggressive or not. Today's before the end of autumn and you got your greenhouse. Time for ancient fruit farming. Hell yeah. Did I understand any of that? No. But I'm happy for Snaggle anyways. I will 100% believe that Snaggle is just describing their activities for the week IRL, including that last message. You would love to be able to afford a greenhouse. Don't you just need some tarp? I feel like having a greenhouse is the cheap option. Am I incorrect? Because the thing about a greenhouse, or the most challenging part of a greenhouse, is having the land for it. A good greenhouse, even a small one, is not cheap. Interesting. Yeah, that's not my experience with greenhouses. You usually just have some sort of flexible rod that you can use to make a structure, and then you just put tarp on it, and that's it. That's how everyone I know who's had a greenhouse has done it. And it works for them. It's a quick and dirty version, but that's not entirely stable. That's news to me. In a really cheap bad greenhouse like over £60, you're incredibly poor. You have to have the physical ability and tools to set it up. which you also do not have because disabled. Interesting. I'm learning a lot about the challenges of having a greenhouse because everyone I know who has a greenhouse is old and not in the best physical condition. And I accept the fact that I'm wrong. You accidentally poisoned your cacti. Cup you used to water them unexpectedly had water in it. So you water them only to then remember that you needed to empty out a small bottle of rubbing alcohol yesterday. You put it in the first container you saw. Who has one, not who builds one. Just once you got it, it's fine. Also these shelves for inside the greenhouse. Okay. I'm learning a lot. About the process. We are going to put you here. Actually, before I do this, I'm going to new from templates under stop. I'm going to choose the colors for the number by going to the internet and finding out what colors the logo uses. Just black. Great. Great. What's on your press kit? Wonder stop. I need every game company who releases a press kit to also include GIFs in their media. Please and thank you. Okay. So it is just, I could just leave it at black and white. What if I remove the outline on you? Shape, stroke, no stroke. So there's just a black corner with a white outline number. That seems okay. Your episode 1. I want to be able. All you want is to be able to grow plants from scratch without killing them, which honestly is an impossible dream for you. You could get a greenhouse, you'd forget to check the plants because it would be out of your sight. So what I'm hearing is that you need to have a whole house that is a greenhouse so that the plants are always in view. Got it. I didn't actually want to create a new one from that. I wanted to open the original file. Close Who's that? New, recent. One. Really? I guess I'll have to go to the thing. Project files, Affinity, Wonderstop, Plunk. Number, we have shape, stroke, none. Change this to a 1. Have it be perfectly in the corner. That's correct. We export this one as Wonderstop episode 1. And then we new template Wonderstop. Actually, there was literally no reason for me to do it that way. That's fine. We got there in the end. That's what matters. Whoop. Patrick, hello. Shiny name. Oh, Patrick, I lied to you, not Twitch. My schedule hours were fucked. Because I didn't change them after the time changed. Oh, why are you on the wrong screen? There we go. Brush. I'm gonna do the classic paint over. I forget I need to turn that away so it doesn't fucking blind me when I'm trying to paint. My light situation is insane. I had to reinstall my tablet drivers the other day. So I'm hoping that they won't cause issues. Oh, that does not need to be that long actually. Because that's the string on the hat. The hat? The hood. Oh, not like too dark. There we go. I need something to bounce the light off of. So that it's not directly blinding me, but also doesn't make me too dark. Are you not my soon? What's going on? I'm getting a call. Not right now, buddy. Now, why the Sam hell are you not acting as my soon button? Something changed? No, that should be the mouse wheel. Is it fucked? No, that's the mouse wheel. The hell? Why are you not mouse wheeling? Am I getting gaslit by my computer? I think I am. Well. This sucks. I guess that's kind of assumed. I did say why in the Sam hell. I don't know where I picked that up from. Couldn't tell you. But I didn't come up with it. Probably you? No, I've been saying that for like a while. Not regularly. But I can tell you for a fact that it's pre-y'all. Sounds very southern. Maybe I picked it up from Jacob. That would make sense. I feel like that's a thing that he would say. Not to pin anything that's southern on him. And he's the only person that I know from the South. From before. From before Fungus. That would have said something like that because one of my professors at university was from Georgia as well, but she wouldn't have said that. And I believe there was someone else I knew from the South, or I knew of from the South. I don't directly know many people from the US. I guess I do more now, but less so before. Putting the same hell is a southern phrase. Putting the hell back in it is very funny. Do I want... Oh, it started to rain. That's not good news for my buddy. He wanted to do stuff downtown. I told him it was going to start raining at 3. It's not 3. Well. Speaking of putting things on the TV for sleep reasons, I found a way to have Home Assistant play a YouTube video on my TV at a certain time. I also find a way to use Python scripts. So I've merged those two together, and I have a Python script that checks what's the latest trophy video, grabs the ID from it, and plays it on my TV first thing in the morning. So when I wake up, my light turns on, or not even when I wake up, when it's sunrise, my light turns on and trophy starts playing on the TV. That's my alarm. It's an amazing way to wake up. It's a way, for certain. Scat, borrow shape. In here, his incredible shape. To the best of our abilities. Then we'll lasso the rest. My music stopped abruptly. Hello? Oh, title lost connection. I'm sure that won't mean anything else for the stream. Am I assuming is working again? Thank you, computer. I love it when I get gaslit. Buddy, I need you to get real. Do I have it too high of a quality? Let's play another Tummy Boy special. And title's just struggling. Aren't we all, title? Aren't we all? My suing is not working anymore. What the hell? It was working like just now. What the hell? My computer's fucking gaslighting me. That's crazy. No Stoomies for me, apparently. Peace and tranquility only. Gonna extract borrow. Deselect that. Nope, still can't zoom. I don't know what I did. We're going to embiggen you. Before we, oh, not that way. I was watching someone try Affinity Photo as opposed to Photoshop. They've gone. I don't know if it's the same person, but I've seen a few videos of people trying the alternatives to Adobe software. And one of the complaints that this person had was that the resizing is inconsistent. This one is disproportional, and this one is proportional. So if you want to do like the opposite, you're gonna have to know which one is proportional and which one isn't, so that you don't fuck up your shit. And that is a valid point. I'm gonna put Boro like right in between Jacob and Julia. Fucking love Boro. He's great. I've seen a few people on the comments of the YouTube videos point out that Boro talks in present continuous all the time, while Alta speaks in past tense a lot of the time, which does have the connotation that Alta lives in the past while Boro lives in the present. Is it like that on Adobe products unless you check key proportions? The problem is that it's not consistent across all the markers around the thing, because the top and bottom ones do not behave the same as the corner ones. That's the main issue. I also found out that if you want to move the image without moving the mask with it, you can lock children and it will move the image without moving the mask. Pretty cool. I hadn't noticed Alta speech pattern. Yeah, I hadn't either. Someone pointed it out in the comments and I thought that was really cool. Lock what? I said what I said. You don't think they behave the same? The corners move vertical and horizontal, which is proportional. Moving only markers on the sides don't control both, so why would it be proportional? That's a sensible way to look at it. I think that's how it works in Adobe by default. So allow you to have more transform options. Interesting. I famously do not use Photoshop because I find it clunky. So I wouldn't know. I do find the inconsistency of the controls something that you have to get used to. Just to run across the locks on the canals and open them for narrow boats so they didn't have to do it themselves. Children truly have no fear. I don't know what that means. I'll be honest with you. I should have done this differently, actually. I should create a new mask that's masking this mask. But then locking children wouldn't really work. the way I want it to. That's okay. I just need to get this shape correct. You're assuming that Bora is going to be behind both Jacob and Julia? No, he's going to be in between Jacob and Julia. That is... Your fun thought is exactly where I'm going. I didn't mask it correctly. So make sure this is masked appropriately. This. To also like that he's standing at eye level. I was gonna move him, but now I don't think I should. I am gonna move him slightly so that Jacob's face is not fully covered. Just mostly covered. God, I wish I could zoom with my freaking dial. Get Julia's face back in there. I can understand moving forward for that, but you like the covering of Jacob's face. Yeah, I want it to be that covered up. Maybe I can move him slightly on Jacob's. Well, that's exactly where I had him. No, I like it better when he's not fully covering. Because in my mind, this paints a picture that Jacob is like moving out of the way. Yeah, put a picture in stream text, and yeah, this is a very British moment. Oh, those things. I see. Okay, so I did know of their existence. I just didn't know. I guess my brain didn't really process that that you said exactly what you meant. Is the problem. I just didn't believe my own eyes. Now, do I want to change the color of the background is my next question. Terrified that you pull that quote during show week. It'll be fine. It'll make for some fun improv. It's gonna be like that one show where everything goes poorly on purpose. I want to go to one of those. You're going to be fine, you're a stage manager, customer, but you're worried about the actors. They'll be fine. It'll make for a memorable presentation, whatever happens. Which I'm sure it will be nothing. So with all that, Leb said, you're going to get killed, and you're like, well, this took a turn. Wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, I guess I do want the background to be a color. I'm going to hide the number real quick. And I am going to hide borrow for a sec. Just lasso the rest of this. And then we're going to copy and paste this layer with a mask on it. Put you all the way up there. You two need to go all the way up there. You need to go in there. Get Bora back in here. You need to be over that. Now why are you... Oh, that's Bora's spoon, I see, okay. I was confused as to what this shape was. He's a little tangenty with Julius's face. Move that. Move you back into place. That's better. And then we're going to add do need to make sure that this is somehow the right layer. And you're going to be a gradient of color. We're gonna do green because green is gonna separate things a bit better. Gonna go light, no, dark green to the same green but lighter. It's gonna look a little weird. And then we're gonna change this to be probably an overlay. Soft light also works, just to give it a little tint. Oh, hue might be... Do I want hue or color? No, I think I want... Well, hue kind of fucks my gradients. I guess color would also not really take migrating into consideration. Soft light it is. Turn down the opacity a smidge. Just to not make it that intense. You panic thinking you forgot to put the pin out last night. It's tonight. Tonight is the pin night. Yeah, I've done that a few times. Where I'm like, oh shit, I need to take out the trash. Wait, no, hold on. That's tomorrow's problem. Lucky for me, trash collection is 3 times a week. So even if I miss a day, it doesn't go on for much longer before I can take out the trash. I guess number is gonna live in here. Again. It's one of the handful of nice things about the apartment. Yeah, your apartment gets almost throughout the week garbage collection. And even then, the garbage bin, the big one, is not too far out. Yours is once a week with alternating bin types. However, neither you or your housemate produce any overwhelming amount of trash. You can miss your week and not be flowing over. In here, we don't have the nicety of getting recyclables collected independent of regular trash. So if you want to do any kind of recycling, you're going to have to go out of your way, which is really annoying. Like if I want to recycle glass or something like that, I have to go to a glass collection bin downtown. And for organics, not organics, for cardboard and paper, I don't even know where you do that. And plastic, there are some places around neighborhoods where you can drop bottles, but that's about it. It's really annoying. Because I want to be like good about that, but there's no real way for me to do it. Call it nicety, but if you fuck up, they fine you, and most recycling across the area does not even get recycled. Don't have the facilities, goes to the same place. Yeah, that is a problem. I guess the good thing is that they don't lie to me about it. They're not like, oh, you have to separate it in this way, and then they dump it all in the same place. They're like, no, we're gonna dump it all in the same place. Don't bother. But I wish I could bother. I wish I had the option to bother. Maybe I'll start my own recycling company. How about that? What I will do is save this file. Because I think it's done. This is Wonderstop episode 2. We'll see if Jacob continues Wonderstop. He was considering playing something else. the gameplay cycle of Wonderstop seems to be the same all the time, and the story, I think it's something that you kind of have to experience for yourself. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's like, you've seen what the game is like. I can move on to something else. Alright, that's one done. Right on schedule too, that took me an hour. Go to blueprints. I'm not entirely sure what I want to do with this one. I think I had the concept, but I don't remember. Let me check my notes. I have no notes. Great. A lot of that is an actual practical limitation, just that recycling does require more effort and research into what can be recycled because sorting needs to be done manually, so putting their own stuff in can really fuck up a whole batch of things that need to be recycled. Sabby could explain it better. Where's Sabby when you need them? Actually, I don't think I know. Hold on. Doing a quick pronoun check. Where's Sabby? Where's Sabby? Where's Sabby when you need her? I do like this gesturing that Julie is doing because it does make it seem like she's saying that she's connecting the dots, when in reality she's talking about the cat sniffing around the house. I might use that to my advantage. He also vaguely looked like some cold gesturing. That's fine, it's on brand. I also like this expression, but I don't know what I would use it for. I also like this gesturing, but I don't know what I would use it for. There's a lot of good gestures going on that I'm not entirely sure of their... I don't think it works as emotion. As emotion? Yeah, sure. You can say that, Khaz, that's allowed. Even though it's not really... doesn't have any meaning. question that you might not actually know the answer to. Someone was complaining is a strong word, but that's the only one I could use to describe it right now. That when Jacob and Julie are reading something on the screen, there's no subtitles for that. And I don't know what's better, because my idea was that if there's text already on the screen, I don't want to make it double. Like, I don't want to have the text that's already there be duplicated down here, because it would distract you from what you're already reading. But I guess it does mean that you don't know exactly what Jacob or Julia are reading. Part of me wishes that I could highlight what's being read, but that would take so long to do. Should leave them on for an accessibility standpoint. But then, yeah, I'll give it a think. Speaking of cold gesturing, you learned that sororities have hand signs, because when you did Julius Caesar, you did a gender swap, Mean Girl sorority style, so the sorority was Delta Epsilon Delta, or DED. There was a hand sign and everything. Interesting. You're on baby duty. Not sure how much mental space you'll have for a stream. Well, I hope baby behaves. So online ordering less of a thing then. Obviously there are way more things that affect that, but you feel like if you couldn't separate your cardboard out, you would order way less things. I imagine that question is aimed at Snaggle, but what I can tell you is that you just don't care. In general, people just don't care. But there are people who, if you're nice enough to put your cardboard on a different let me start that thought again. If you're nice enough to separate your cardboard, there are people who go around collecting it. Same thing with aluminum cans. They're not part of the garbage collection team. They are just people who collect those things in order to sell them and make some money. Because there are places in town that will take them, It's just um, it's unhelpful for the individual to go and deal with that, but there are some who will use that to their advantage to kind of make some extra income. It's not unusual to see people rummaging through garbage, which is not a good sight. It always kind of feels bad that they kind of have to do that. But it's like no one's going to tell them anything. If there's one thing, I'm continuing the thought of accessibility for subtitles. If there's one thing that I would hope this game added was the readable, just plain text option for their documents, because there are documents that are styled to be handwritten, and that's not always the easiest thing to write, to read. Just in general, not just for the purposes of a video. And speaking of subtitling that isn't really helpful for the viewer, WonderStop also suffers from having subtitles that stay on screen for way too long and are way too wide. If any of the developers of WonderStop happen to come across this stream, please read the BBC guidelines. I beg you. It's fine for text boxes. You can leave those as long as you want. It can be as much text as you need. But if you're making subtitles, make good subtitles. Please and thank you. Whenever you get to making a game, you're having me subtitle it for you. Good. I mean, realistically, it would just have to be that I don't even know how you go about making subtitles for a game. I should learn that. But it would just have to be that the styling is consistent to the conventional wisdom. I better have a starting point for you. You're co-opting my experience. That's allowed. The system is damned. The system is damned. I don't know what that's a reference to. I just like the rhythm. See, this is the kind of handwriting notes that it's hard to read in general. So I wish they had the Hey Raw Fury. If you happen to be across this stream, please put a plain text version of this as an option that you can toggle between. Please and thank you. It would be crazy if my life took a turn to where I become an accessibility advisor for video games and media. You can see it. I wouldn't be against it, to be honest. Hey, if anyone comes across this video and you happen to be in charge of hiring people for a large media project, I can be your accessibility advisor. Please and thank you. You can see it. Everyone's on board with this idea. Thank you all. I'm glad you see my vision. The pump room might be an interesting moment to highlight. There is a room that you can move some levers around to change water levels that you technically should get a manual for. But Julia just figured it out. She just went and did it. I guess it is a testament to how good the puzzles are in this game that you can figure them out without major clues. The context of the puzzle is enough to get an idea of how it's supposed to be solved. Or maybe Julia's just incredibly big brain. That's also a possibility, and I wouldn't put it past her. This is the room that gives you the records of your playthrough. Don't know if that will help me much, but I am going to screenshot it. Why is my phone buzzing? I just random Instagram stories. I must have zoned out when they started reading the room information because I didn't remember that they went through that. I did gloss over Patrick's dumpster diving comment. Oh yeah. There are things that people throw out that are perfectly fine. You know, the whole one person's treasure is or one person's trash is another person's treasure thing. My parents have picked up quite a few perfectly usable things from the streets. Someone threw out a pair of speakers one time. And we were like, we don't really have a use for these speakers, but they are fine. So we picked them up. I don't remember what we did with those. There must be in the house somewhere. We got a working laptop and a working office computer from the trash. Damn. Speaking of electronics, not to shill for Micro Center, but if there is a Micro Center near you, they do take electronics for recycling. Or donating, even. If you ever are in the situation when you want to find a place to recycle electronics in the US. The desk chair that Tool used to game in the dining room was a curb find by Riley. I would be a little concerned about big couches. It would be tempting to grab a couch from the street, but you don't know what's on it. You also just found straight up money in dumpsters on multiple occasions. It was dirty money. Did you launder it? Went direct to wallet. Straight to the pocket. No questions asked. Oh, speaking of finding coins. That's what Julia got out of her pump room escapade. And then the wrong was Jover. Let me close this. Save that. We're going to have the program crash real quick. A little crash refresher. Now, why are you over here? As a thumbnail is actually fairly depressing. Pretty sure it's cleanup from evictions. It's not the nicest thing to think about. The grossest money you've ever touched came from someone that you took an order from in the drive-thru. All the bills were vaguely slimy. How do you even manage that? This is blue. Actually, I need to open the blueprints photo so I can add the number to it, which I guess it's also going to be in this corner. I need to do something about my composition. I can't have everything be in this corner. But I think the color selection is going to be pretty easy. It's just going to be a nice blueprint blue. I will check what the blue is that they used. Blanc. Don't know, but you immediately told your manager about it and stepped away to wash your hands after taking it. Smart. Reminds me of the video of a kid that found a rolled up dollar bill with some dust in it. He was really happy about it, and his mom was like, I need you to think about this for a second. You found a random bill and it has some dust on it and you don't know what it is. New way to hide counterfeit bills, distract them with slime. That would work. Not with the bank though, they wouldn't take it. In fact, the banks around here won't even take bills if they are slightly stained in any way. Well, I know that's true for US dollars when you're trying to convert them. I don't know if you can stain Chilean currency. Because our money is like it's made out of plastic or some form of plastic, so it's not really stainable, similar to like Canadian currency. It's a part of a bank's job to exchange damaged currency, maybe local currency. But I'm not actually sure that they do. It might be a thing that they have to do, but I don't know if it's a thing that they bother to do. Oh, I don't want to export as PNG. I've never actually had to deal with someone not taking my bill because it was too damaged, because people just think money is money. If it's slightly teared, if it's written on, don't give a shit. Money is money. Alright, and we're going to use you, once I save you, as a template for the next one. That's the wrong menu. New template, blueprints. Apparently in the US, if you quote, position a mutilated US currency, meaning that the currency has been damaged to the extent that 1/2 or less of the original note remains, or its condition is such that its value is questionable, then you should contact the Department of Treasury's Bureau of Engraving and Printing. The BP's Mutilated Currency Division provides free mutilated currency redemption services to the public. Consumers should not send any currency directly to Federal Reserve, including mutilated currency, end quote. Huh. Good to know. I forget if my... Hold on. I'm checking something real quick. sides are fine. My sister had an issue selling her USD a while ago. So maybe I'll just take them to the US with me next time and send them and contact the department or the Bureau of Engraving and Printing. Although I imagine that if some bills are slightly stained, people in the US wouldn't really give a shit. If it's just stains, no, not really. Yeah, it's like slightly fainter than a coffee stain on a couple of the bills. So I imagine most people won't really bother putting up any barriers. Totally just spend in there and just pay her the value. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I mean, they did give me some, because this was part of a car sale. It was, so, my in-law is from Argentina. He moved in a couple months ago. Probably, I think it's past the 6-month mark. Yeah, it's from that. So, when he moved in, he had a car, but the car could not be registered here in Chile, so he had to sell it. But he couldn't sell it in Chile, he had to sell it in Argentina. So he did that. Got paid in USD because the Argentinian peso fucking sucks. And all the bills are fine. They are perfectly valid bills. Actually, the dude who sold them, who bought the car from them, took a picture of the bills to keep track of which one he had been using. Came here with the money, tried to change it. And they did give me some of that money because I've been helping him. I didn't do it to get any money back. I just did it because they're my family. But they wanted to give me some of that money. I accepted it. And then when they had problems changing that money, I was like, you could just take some of the pile that you gave me and I can deal with that later because I fly to the US almost yearly. But I don't know if they did that. And I don't know what they did with that money. Maybe they still have it. That's for me to deal with whenever I fly to the US again, which is not going to be this year. Because, you know. It's hundreds? Yeah. Ow. I think there were like a couple hundred. It was like $300 or $400 bills that they couldn't exchange, which sucks. It's a lot of money. It's just sitting there doing nothing. Grabby hands. The suckiest part is that this happened while I flew into the US last year. So if had I known, I would have just taken that money with me on that trip and it would have been fine. But the timing just worked out a little weird. also gonna use, I'm actually gonna highlight the pump room situation here. One of the things you were literally just saying the other day is that you love the new hundreds. That the new hundreds are like fancy with the blue strip. Oh, you guys had a change in the design of your currency recently, didn't you? Like some extra protections and stuff. It was a pretty long time at this point. Why do I feel like some bills changed recently? Maybe I just read some old news. Wouldn't put it past me. Hundreds used to be more standard looking, but now they have more like holographic effects. Yo, holographics. Those are gonna sell like crazy on CSGO. Do you also have to like get them out of a loot box? Registers are kind of loot boxes. You know what? That's fair. I didn't ignore your comments that you just said. Do you know what gravity is to your nephew? I read it, I meant to say something about it, and then I didn't. Why is my Zoom not fucking working? I hate everything about life. It's fine. I just wanted to say something because I did mean to acknowledge it and I did read it in my brain and then I just didn't. It's a long marketplace. It would be awkward to start holding the bills up to the light to check if they're real, so having a pretty clear indicator that they aren't counterfeit without needing to make a big show of it is nice. Here, well, yeah, it's hundreds, but here I think you can check them with a UV light, which I imagine is also the case on or in the US. Most places have like a little UV lamp that they put a bill on there and it'll glow in certain places. Of course you have to know what that means. But you could have carried like a little UV flashlight and just swipe over it. Would have been way easier than kind of like holding it up to the light and moving it around. Cash transactions in person have more awkward. I don't trust you specifically. I always, whenever someone checks a bill, like in a store or anything like that, or even if I'm just handing money to someone and they check it to see if it's real, my first thought is that they are checking that I didn't get scammed before. Because most people don't really think to check bills, and honestly, I never do. So I find it helpful that they check just in case maybe I got a fake bill somewhere and I just didn't know. Once you bought a laptop and you put the cash in an envelope for them and the person didn't open it, you were like, you should check that. Fully just trusted that you didn't hand them an empty envelope. I feel like the weight of the envelope would have been a giveaway. I like to... When I bought my camera, I bought it secondhand. Actually, when I bought my first Switch, I also bought it secondhand. And I made a point of counting the money in front of them. Because I don't trust myself to not have counted correctly. One of the reasons you insisted on running the main merch table at fundraisers. Oh, checking money, I see. Nice thing is you feel like both the buyer and the seller on marketplace feel awkward about money handover. You have to do the I don't know if it's, I guess most East Asian countries do this, but you just have to like hand it with both hands and bowing. If we're gonna make a spectacle out of it, make it a big spectacle. Make it silly so that it's less awkward. It's the awkward, like, when do I hand you the money? When I bought my camera, I bought it on a parking lot because the guy was from out of town. So I checked the camera, made sure that it turned on, made sure that it worked, and then I counted the money, gave it to him, handshake, and leave. Feels weird just handing the money before you get the thing, but also is weird feeling to like load up the stuff from them for them without getting the money yet. I would say I would do it after the check. So you see that the thing is there, you see that the thing is in one piece, and then money exchange happens, because loading it up is not your problem as the seller. However you take this thing with you is your issue. I've given it to you. My money, please. Goodbye. And if you want to have the courtesy of helping them load it up into whatever, if it's heavy or not, then that's just you being nice. Once you had a standoff in Messenger with a guy because he was like full money, then you deliver. You were like, I do not know you or trust you, so I want to see that thing IRL before I give money. You didn't get him to compromise with a deposit. Yeah, that's usually how I've done it with marketplace purchases when it's sent. I'm like, I can give you a certain amount, maybe half of it. And I would have no qualms of calling the bank and being like, hey, I sent this person money for a thing and they didn't comply. I would want my money back, please. Nephew's definitely not asleep. Well, there's that, I guess. Realistically, it's always a super tiny thing. You're only talking about like micro awkwardness that you do so much of this. I imagine you're used to it already. It's more of the other person, how used they are to buying and selling. What are you buying? A lawnmower. I don't know why I use lawnmower as the example. What is the microphone and... Oh, the whole rod is not visible. Well, I guess I'm just gonna remove the microphone entirely then. Get out of here. Most people are to some degree of uncomfortable already just from meeting a stranger. Strangers are scary. Although I don't think I've really felt that way about a stranger in a while. I'm very nonchalant about meeting with strangers, which is probably not a great thing, but you know. The problem with this is that now I have to decide where does Julia's belly end, and I don't know that because she's pregnant. I already don't know anatomy. You think I know anatomy of a pregnant woman? I don't even like making women pregnant. I had a whole surgery to avoid that. Is that big? Is that too big? It feels excessive. But pregnancy in general feels excessive. What are you trying to impress, huh? Oh, you can take care of a person from scratch? Wow, look at you. Makes I have my life together. feel like I made this wrong. It's probably something like that. Does that make sense? I feel like that's more proportional. I do need to make this shadow less shadowy because it's not that noticeable of a transition. I'll be honest, it always looks awkward deciding how large I need to draw Julia's breasts. It's not something that I take pride on, and I do wish to get over it as quickly as possible. Because that's a real person who I do not want to have this kind of uncomfortable knowledge of. I think that's good. Okay, moving on. Speaking of awkwardness, I guess. Let's draw the rest of this floor. Nice and unsentient floor. I guess sentient, not sentient. Bye, Moon. Thanks for being here. Enjoy your day. And that's an order. I guess I can have the number on this top right corner instead, which will break up the monotony of having it on the same corner over and over again. Do not like to do that. Two. Put it back in view. What's the title of the stream? I don't remember. Is my Excel sheet gonna show up on stream? No. Good. Yeah, that probably works. I might need to futz with the title a little bit. But that's okay. That's what we do. That's what we do around these parts. She does say on this section, I need it to let my brain cook. Which is an interesting sentence to say if you don't know what letting something cook means. It's the wrong one. that. Try to decide where I want to put this text in relationship. In relation to the rest. I think that's good. We're going to give it a slight outer shadow. We're not going to offset it though, it's just going to be out there vibing. Give it some separation from the back. Need to make it slightly more intense, slightly bigger, because when designing for thumbnails you have to make things way bigger than you think you would need to. That's that. That's this. If I group these, I don't think it works in a group. I would have to duplicate it and then rasterize and trim, and then do the selection. Yes, lap. You also made the executive decision last night that anytime you happen across a teddy in a fun pose in Fallout, that's the thumbnail for that stream. Great. I love that decision. Can't zoom in. Fucking shit. Fuck. Shit. The purpose of this cutout was to give Julia an outside shadow as well. We'll see how well that works for me. Outer shadow, intensity and offsets. Just use the offset tool, Khaz. I won't work because it's behind that. I moved it to the wrong spot. There we go. Do that, make the radius real big. Increase the opacity. I could probably get away with slightly less intensity. Surprised I'm not doing new office clickbait. I don't know how that would work with non-subscribers. Because people who know Jacob and Julia will be excited for the new office, but also people who would be excited about the new office would click on the video regardless of what it is. So I need to think about the viewers that don't know anything about anything. Which is why when they showed up their engagement rings, I did the ring as if something happened to Julia's hand, and for the new apartment video that they did an observation duty on, I still put a huge man in there. Also, I think it's a nice nod, or not a nice nod, but someone who's looking at the thumbnail and cares about the new office space will see the Wonderstop thumbnail and go, wait, that's a different background. Just working through my thought process for that, for the sake of people understanding where I land on ideas. I'm losing steam, I just noticed. Edit every thumbnail with them in it to have the old office background. If I had ever finished that 3D model that I was working on, maybe I should have done that. Yeah, exactly. This is Blueprints episode 2. Oh, I closed it. I didn't mean to close it. I just meant to save it. And we're going to export this. Although this is sort of the end, so it wouldn't have mattered much if I closed it. I'm gonna save that. I haven't uploaded the videos for this week yet. I should do that today. I was busy yesterday, so that's why I didn't do it. But I do think that's what I'm gonna call it, because one, I'm done. 2, I'm hungry. I think I didn't put any more effort on that. Yeah. That would have been, well, it wouldn't have been a giant waste of my time if I had finished it within sort of the time frame that I had set myself to do it in. Because then it still would have been almost a year of having that to my advantage. Now, Draz did point out that the new space is much easier to model in 3D, especially now that there's less stuff in it. Also, I could do the same cheat of building the general geometry of the place and then projecting the texture on it. So that I don't have to model every detail, but still looks somewhat okay. I would still need a clean plate. So at that point, why would I even need a 3D model? But you know, it could be fun. Maybe I could change the lighting, put some stuff in it, do some particle simulations to have a bunch of cats bounce around. I don't know, it would be fun. Anyways, that is going to be the stream today. We're going to be back on Thursday for more Prey. And then continue through that. I don't know how long that game is. I didn't care to check. I'll find out when I finish it. I had another game that I wanted to play after Prey, and now I don't remember what it is. It'll come back to me. I've been Khaz, you've been wonderful. Remember that you're very important to me, and remember to let your brain cook. Where's the shirt? Oh, the scene doesn't have any music. Hold on, let me fix that. Okay. Goodbye.